What it is, family? Y'all already know what time it is. Chainbreaker squad this thing. You feel me? I'm your boy D Lad, aka Chainbreaker. If you didn't know, man. You know what I mean? And just sit for a minute, man. Well, today, you know what I'm saying? I'm bringing out a Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution or whatever, right? So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know this. You know what I'm saying? Most people should know this. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna really go too far into the politics of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna just let y'all know what it is basically, and you can have that knowledge and go on from there. So, you know, so I'm start with the first one. So I'm gonna say that James Madison created the Constitution of the first 10 the amendments, right? Originally there was 17, but only 12 got ratified by the Senate and 10 got ratified by the state legislators. So that's how we ended up with 10 because originally it was 7. I don't know what those other 7 was because I didn't go research to see what it was. So we just left it with that. So, you know what I'm saying? Only 10 was ratified by the state legislature. So the first one will be uh, the First Amendment protects the right that that Congress can't issue a statewide religion or prevent the practice of any religion. It also protects the freedom of speech and the operation of free press. It also protects our right to peacefully protest. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's basically self-explanatory. They can't force no religion. You can practice whatever religion you want to. You know what I mean? You have the right to operate free press, you know what I mean? You also have the right to peacefully protest if you want to. So they can't tell you can't protest something as long as you're doing it peacefully. You know what I mean? They can't tell you can't uh be like a journalist or something because you know you have the right to free press. You know what I mean? And freedom of speech is self-explanatory. Okay, the Second Amendment is the right to keep and bear firearms for protection of property, yourselves, and your individual liberty. So you got the right to have, you know what I'm saying, and to own, basically, to own and have on you or carry um, firearm type weapons, you know what I mean, to protect yourself, basically, or your property. You know what I'm saying? Or your rights. If your rights are being violated, you have the right to protect yourself using a firearm. You know, the Third Amendment protects us from the government forcibly housing soldiers in our home in a time of peace. So that means like the government cannot have soldiers, you know what I'm saying, come live in your house, if it's not a time of war. If it's a time of war, okay, it's all right because maybe they have to be on this side of the country, so they have to live somewhere. So they have a few that live in your house. But if it's a time of peace, you can't come be like you stationed in my house type stuff. So they can't force you to do that. The Fourth Amendment protects our right to not have our person or property unreasonably seized or searched by the government agent. So basically, um, the government or the police or however we want to look at it, they can't search you or your property, you know what I'm saying, or take your shit or take you or arrest you unreasonably, you know what I mean, or without probable cause of any crime or suspicion. They can't do this type of stuff to you. Like, they can't come in your house without a warrant type stuff, things of that nature. You know, if you don't give them that authority or that consent, then it's not justified unless they have a court order, basically. Okay, Fifth Amendment protects a laundry list of rights having to do with criminal prosecution, property rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to due process, the rights to be paid fairly if the government takes your property for public use. Okay, so let me read that again. The Fifth Amendment protects a laundry list of rights having to do with criminal prosecution. So one of them is property rights. One of them is the right to remain silent. The right to due process and the right to be paid fairly if the government takes your property for public use. So the right to remain silent means you don't have to say anything that'll be incriminating yourself, basically. Uh, the right to due process is, you know, for each step to be done correctly, due process. The right to be paid fairly if the government uses your property for public use is like if they need to use, like, say you got some land on your land and they need to use a part of your land for maybe utilities or maybe like oil or something, then they would have to pay you properly for that. You know what I mean? The Sixth Amendment guarantees your right to have a speedy and public trial by a local jury. The right to know that you're being what you also have the right to know what you're being charged with. You also have the right to make a witness against you come forward, and you also have the right to challenge them on the stand, and you have the right to have help from a lawyer. Okay, so the Sixth Amendment is supposed to protect your right to have a speedy and a public trial. So if you go into trial, it shouldn't take long, and it should be a public trial. That means anybody can come to it, and a local jury, which means like they have jury of your peers. Sometimes it be somebody you went to school with type stuff. That's kind of what they mean by the local side. Then the right to know who is the right to know what you're being charged with. You know what I'm saying? You being charged with something, you have the right to know what that is. So, somebody, if the police are trying to arrest you, they have to tell you what that is. They just can't arrest you without telling you. You also have the right to make the witness, whoever snitching or telling on you, come forward, and you have the right to challenge their information. You know what I mean? On the stand in court. And you also have the right to have you a lawyer. You know what I mean? Those are all rights that you can exercise and can be taken from you. Okay, the Seventh Amendment preserve the right to have a trial by jury in civil lawsuits in which major amounts of money are involved. So that means basically if you suing somebody, for a large amount of money, you have the right to have it in front of a jury. You know what I'm saying? To have a jury to make the decision, a fair decision, instead of she say. You have to present your evidence in front of a jury. You know, instead of just the judge. Okay, the Eighth Amendment is the right from free. I mean, the right to be free from excessive bail, fines, and cruel and unusual punishment. The right to be free from excessive bail, fines, and cruel and unusual punishment. That means they can't give you a bail that you can't afford or a fine that they know you can't afford, or even is what I'm saying, being enhanced, beyond reasonable enhancement. What I'm saying, that then cruel and unusual punishment would be something like torture, what I'm saying, or being mistreated, beat up by the police on some type stuff. What I'm saying? You have the right to be free from anything excessive, what I'm saying? And that goes back to this, what it's one. the right to keep firearms to protect yourself, that can go in with that if you have an issue. Okay, we only got two more left. Okay, so now we are at the Ninth Amendment. The Ninth Amendment protects the fact that the government must respect all rights a person naturally has, although they are not listed. So that means all inalienable rights, what I'm saying, rights that you're born with automatically that don't have to be spoken, or even the ones that they just didn't write on this list because that'll be a long list type stuff. You still have those rights if you know how to exercise them right. So just because remember the Ninth Amendment, because they'll try to say that something is not a right, but if you bring the fact that they have to respect rights a person naturally has, although it's not listed in the Bill of Rights, then they will have to respect whatever right it is, as long as it's something that's reasonable. You know, uh, the 10th Amendment, which will complete the whole bill, the power not to the power not given to the federal government belongs to the state or the people themselves. Okay, so that means because it's a lot of different type of legislations or different type of branches of the government. We have all these different, but the federal government and the state government is two different things. That's why they have federal and state laws. And so basically, if it's not if the power don't so if the federal government don't have a certain authority, we can just say like when it comes down to a certain city, like only the state can deal with it, like the governors. You feel me? And so if the governor don't have that power, the people have that power. That is when, people get together, what I'm saying, as a group and protest, what I'm saying, or, you know, um, have people to sign petitions and things of that nature to get stuff done in their community. You know, even when it comes down to the voting. So that's the power the people can have themselves. So, anyways, yeah, this is pretty short, but that's cool. Anyways, people, you know what I'm saying? That's the Bill of Rights, the first 10 um amendments of the Constitution, you know, and like I said, I ain't gonna get too political into that, but I just wanted to say that everybody needs to know this. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't even know these things right here, and they be taken advantage of all the time, and don't know how to fight. You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to learn how to fight intellectually. You know what I mean? It ain't always a physical thing. Sometimes it starts. You know what I'm saying? Mentally anyway. So when it comes down to things of this nature, knowing your rights is will help you in the fight. You know what I'm saying? To be treated right, to get you some justice, to be able to even do things you ain't know you can do because you didn't know what your rights was. So this for everybody on a certain level. You know what I mean? You just gotta stay on top of your game. You know what I'm saying? Stay on top of your game. Another thing, I might just come back with the whole rest of the Constitution, or I might even come pull out the Miranda rights for somebody because that's now we going in that'll be going into after you are actually being arrested. Now you being arrested. Now you have only these rights. So it's like they take these rights away because now you only have criminal rights now. And I don't know if I'm making it up, so don't quote me on that. But so now you have criminal rights. So that's why like they say, let me read you your rights because now these are the only rights you have. Now you don't have any more rights because now you under their they control or they watch or you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna bring the Miranda rights for people too, and I'm gonna look up the for as like driving pedestrian type rights. I'm bring that up too. So for everybody that's like either you a driver or you a passenger, I'm gonna bring up all the rights for everybody. So drivers gonna be they gonna know their rights. The passengers gonna know their rights. Everybody gonna know their rights. So when you if you should be better protected to not be violated, you know what I'm saying, by people that's being crooked, you know what I mean, to meet their quota out here. And I mean, it's not just cops, it's like they say, government, Congress, the state, it's all of these people as well. You know what I mean? So anyways, I wish the rest of the squad was here, but you know, everybody had their little own little thing going, you dig, and it wasn't, it wasn't gonna be too much anyway. As we see, it's only 10. You know what I'm saying? Bill of Rights. You know what I'm saying, on the Constitution. Like I said, it started off with 17 and then 12. But honestly, the whole Constitution, I would say, would kind of be the bill. But the thing about this kind of is different. Uh, it's different levels to the Constitution, and you got to know what a separation is to see, who is talking to, who being talked to, who's saying what. You know what I mean? So it's levels to the whole thing as a whole. You know what I mean? But I just, like I said, I just want to bring this to the people because a lot of people don't know they basic, you know what I'm saying, I was gonna say 10 commandments. The basic, you know what I'm saying, first 10 amendments, you know what I'm saying, which is the Bill of Rights that a lot of people don't even know and get uh taken advantage of all the time. And I'm kind of feel good that I was trying to able to bring it to y'all. Like I said, I got a lot more stuff that I'm gonna bring. Uh, and we got some debates coming up. I don't want to say it too soon, but we got a couple debates coming up, and the boys they getting prepared right now, and it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit, man, for sure. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much all I wanted to bring and let y'all know what was going on. Let me see what this is. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyways, appreciate y'all. We out this thing once again, you know what I'm saying? Chainbreaker Squad. Hey man, and this is a perfect time to let y'all know why this is you know, this is why I always say, you know what I'm saying, it's always about being informed so you can be prepared. You know what I mean? And this is a good example right here. Because a lot of y'all don't know and didn't know y'all rights, you know what I'm saying? And this is not all the rights that you have, you know. Like I said, I'm gonna bring many more. This just a preview. Not even a preview, just a little ski taste of what I'm bringing, you know what I mean? So, like I said, a lot of people don't know this stuff. Even for me, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I just knew this either. I knew some of them, but I didn't know all of them like that. So it was a learning thing for me too, you know what I'm saying, when I was doing my research and things like that. So, you know, that's what we do, man. We learn and grow, man. Like I said, everybody, you know what I'm saying, just be prepared, you know what I'm saying, pay attention, you know what I'm saying, and stay informed. And we out this thing. Holla at y'all. Appreciate y'all. Peace.